one of the students sent me the question. So it's about, okay, hello, Chuan Sifu, thank you for reaching out to me. The first question I have is, how do Bodhisattvas make vows to alleviate the suffering of sentient beings without clinging and attachment? Is their vow to help sentient beings and attachment in itself? So this is from Everly in the Heart Sutra class. So this question has been baffling me because I'm in the helping profession. She's associate psych at the moment, and really want to do something in my life to alleviate the suffering of people. But I find myself in suffering when I cannot think of a way to help other people. And because all sufferings come from attachment, I thought it's because of my attachment to helping others that begets suffering. But then again, it is wholesome to help others. So I'm quite conflicted. Haha. The second question is on dependent origination. That will take a while. Yeah. And also because not all of you attended the Heart Sutra. So if I were to explain dependent origination directly here, some of you may have no head and tail. So the question about Bodhisattvas. So the first thing is, for Bodhisattvas is a bit different, because they have the wisdom, right? So, but Bodhisattvas, there are different categories of Bodhisattvas also. There are those who are what we call 外凡 and the 内凡. So 外凡 means those who are still not yet enlightened, but they have really evoked bodhicitta. They haven't reached the various stages. Then the 内凡 are those who, literally internal, the internal stage, inner stage. So those who have already attained enlightenment to various stages. So for those who are still not quite enlightened, they may actually still feel something. That means at the early stage of Bodhisattva path, we also call them Bodhisattva, right? But as they help sentient beings, they may also feel a sense of loss or sad or angry or something. According to some texts, even Guanxin Pusa, Guanxin Pusa, when he started off many aeons, kalpas ago, at the Yingdi, at the Bodhisattva stage, at the early stage, he made this vow that he will not forsake any sentient beings, and if he should, may he split into 1,000 pieces. So with that vow, then he started cultivating and helping sentient beings. So he practiced and he reached a very high level, up to stage 7. It is said that at stage 7, the wisdom of the Bodhisattva is sufficient for them to enter parinibbana. So then it is said that Guanxin Pusa, at that point in time, has this thought, sentient beings, 难服务难调, difficult to help. I think I should just enter parinibbana. Even Guanxin Pusa ever have this thought. And it is said that the moment he had this thought, his body shattered because of his vow. Then his teacher Amitabha come and using the spiritual power, restore him, and and then reminded him of his vows, his past vows. So when you see the Guanxin Pusa imagery, right? Sometimes it's in the full form, and then but you will see the Buddha, the Amitofo on top. Yeah, that's the teacher. In the past, in the Indian culture, when they respect the teacher a lot, they would actually this is symbolism that they respect the teacher so much they carry the teacher on the head. I don't know whether it's literal, yeah, where they literally have a carving of the teacher and put on the head, yeah, or it's expression. It's an expression, you know. But you see that Kwanzaa Pusa, the drawing, right? Oftentimes there's an additional thing, yeah, and then there's actually a Buddha there. Then there are also those carving where there's multiple head, yeah, and then multiple hands, yeah. So that signifies that transformation. So even Kwanzaa Pusa at the earlier stage, yeah, goes through that process. So if I were to look at this student's question, I find myself in suffering when I cannot think of a way to help other people. In a way, we can say that we feel that kind of suffering, right? Yeah, but that's because we're at the earlier stages. Even in the Buddha's time, the Buddha was not able to teach everyone. Yeah, if he's able to teach everyone, we wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be having this conversation. Right? Do you get what I mean? If the Buddha is able to teach everyone, would have been liberated, right? Yeah. Then this question is a moot point. So it is said that there was this encounter, the famous story of the old lady, where the Buddha tried to teach her. But the moment the Buddha approached, not even teach her, she turned around. And the Buddha manifests in front of her again, she turned around. And wherever the Buddha manifests, she just turned around until she's completely surrounded by the Buddha. Yeah, at which point, she just closed her eyes, refused to be taught. Yeah, she refused to even see the Buddha. You know, that's why I tell you, be careful of your aversion towards people, you know. Yeah, this is what I observe about myself. When I am a bit upset with someone, I don't want to even maintain eye contact, you know. Yeah, that's why sometimes in class I always eye contact. Why? Because if students are not able to maintain eye contact, how can they be absorbing the teachings? Not that I need people to like me or what, but it's that I need them to benefit from the session. Yeah. But imagine if you have that such strong aversion that you don't even want to see that person, you know, that's why I say you hang sui that person later attain Buddhahood now. Yeah. Then you keep on making expression. Oh, may I meet the Buddha? May I meet the Buddha? Then you get to meet the Buddha. Then you see the Buddha. I don't want to see this person. You also don't know why though, because you don't have the psychic vision to see your past life. Yeah, you don't have the ability to see your past life. You don't know why. But you don't. But luckily, if it's the Buddha, no problem. From that story of the Buddha's encounter with the old lady, we don't see the Buddha suffering. So do you see the difference? The Buddha don't suffer as a result. The Buddha instead reflect on the conditions and he see that, no conditions with this old lady. And in fact, if I don't recall wrongly, there's some conflict between them. That's why the old lady don't want to listen, don't even want to see him. So then he go and contemplate on the conditions for the old lady. Who has good conditions with the old lady? And he saw that, Varabhananda has very good conditions with many people. So he is the likely candidate, the best candidate. So he instructed Varabhananda, go and teach this old lady. It so happened to be old lady, okay? Nothing gender about this. I find that nowadays I always try to highlight this, yeah, because sometimes not all students have transcended their gender. So some are still very, see a little bit of text. Oh, the Buddha is discriminating against old lady. No. So anyway, Venerable Ananda went over. Wow, the old lady. Oh yeah, if she's a Chinese, 大师吉祥. Yeah. So the Venerable Ananda gave her teachings, guided her, and she immediately had faith, confidence, and attained to Sotapanna. The moment she attained Sotapanna, she realized her fault. She went to see the Buddha, do repentance. The Buddha, of course, the standard formula is, indeed, it is foolish for you to do X, Y, Z. Yeah, but it is growth in the Dharma Vinaya to recognize one's fault. Yeah, so and so on and so forth. Yeah, so is it normal if we at some point while trying to help people get frustrated? Absolutely. Yeah, I've shared before last time, long time ago, when I was at that point in time, I think I have already graduated. Yeah, I was volunteering as a befriender counselor with Shanyo. It's some kind of para-counseling training that we went through. And there was this boy from one of the secondary school. Yeah, under the delinquent scheme. So we, Shanyo would assign para-counselors to the cases that is referred to from the school. Yeah. And after maybe about a month or two, wow, I was really frustrated. Yeah. Whereas this Everly says she experienced suffering. I actually, frustration is a suffering, right? Yeah, I was frustrated with him. It's like, what's wrong with this boy? Because you talk to her, talk to him, then he start attending class. After a few weeks, boom, go back to square one. Then after the next week, so what happened? I heard you did that. Then okay, he went back to class again. Then after a while, pop. Oh, so fed up. Yeah, so I told my counselor. Yeah, I told the supervisor of the center, and the supervisor actually said that is not an issue. Yeah, as I told you all before, I think I told the story before. You all heard before, huh? Yeah. For those who are new to this, in counseling, one of the cardinal rule is not to impose our values on people. Yeah, on the case that we are counseling, and not to become emotionally attached, yeah, or involved. So we're not supposed to impose our value in that way. So when I told my supervisor, I thought that's it, I'll be taken out of the case. I give up lah. So soccer. Yeah, but instead she said that it's good. It's good that you are aware of how you feel towards the case. Yeah, this is important. Yeah, and she says that most, if not all, counselors experience that. That's why they highlight it. Yeah, but it's not like you are doing something wrong. It's that you have to be aware so that you can mitigate it. Yeah, that's the important thing. So similarly, to feel sad or feel suffering, not being able to help is normal. The question is then, what do you do as a result? What is the next best thing? If given that she asked this question from the Heart Sutra, I always like to say, what have we learned in the Heart Sutra? Yeah, so to contemplate on the conditions. So in this case, for the person to receive help requires condition. Yeah, and if we feel sad, it is because we feel that we should be the only condition. Yeah, and we should know all the conditions. Should we know all the conditions? Well, it'd be good if we know, but so what if we don't know? We don't know. We currently don't know, because for us to know the steps to help someone also require conditions. Yeah, for those who have attended the Heart Sutra, you recall the Who Am I chart, right? So from you, the different roles, and then all the subsequent set of conditions, be it individuals or circumstances or or organizations and so on and so forth. Yeah. There's a second exercise which I will share in the coming Saturday, which is using the same approach to list out all the conditions and secondary tier conditions to look at qualities of ours. Yeah, the 4 quadrants. The top left is inner qualities, bottom left is external qualities, and then our abilities. Then the top right is 人事物, that we are grateful towards. And the bottom right is the 3 simple things that make our life easy or make us happy. And the exercise is to simply take one of them, yeah, and write down the conditions. Yeah, write down the conditions. Eventually, we want to map out everything. Yeah, but is it possible to map out everything? Well, it will take a long time. That's why for the exercise, just do 1 or 2. Yeah, because for myself, even when I do 1, it took a massive time. It took a massive time. Yeah, if I may, let me just pull out the one that I did before. Some of you would have seen it before. Let me see, where did I put it? Give me a second. Let me just do a search. Yes. Okay, sorry, not this one. Yes. Okay. Let me share it to my Telegram. And then I open it. And then I can okay. Open up Telegram. Share photos. And then share this. Yeah, can you all see it? Can you all see the, are you all seeing the interdependency gratitude chart? Yeah.
Yes, Sifu.
Yeah, so this is the chart I did years back. And actually the basis for this chart, the mass of things below, right, actually came about because of a question from the youth in Komingsan, almost like maybe how many years back? 2006 or 7, about maybe 2007. Yeah. So there was one evening about maybe 9 plus 10, quite late. And the youth, they were having some activities. And when they finished, they came over and asked me a question: how to overcome pride with the teaching of dependent origination, yeah, of emptiness. Because I was sharing with them day in, day out, day in, day out. 缘起性空，缘起性空. So when they shared with me this, I thought about it, and then I told them, I said, take for example, my ability to write programs. Yeah, when I really reflect on it, then I will have to contend that I didn't know how to write programs just on my own. Yeah. So if you look at on the bottom left, yeah, under abilities, you'll see programming, meditation, driving, and other programming. I list out mathematics, computers, computer languages. So that's the first tier that I can think of. Don't worry whether you get it like technically correct. Yeah. Just as close as you can understand. Yeah. Within your ability to list it out. I don't know whether it's big enough you can see or not. Okay, I hope it's clear enough for you all to see. So then from mathematics, then I think about it. Okay, for me to know mathematics, I know to learn English. Yeah. Similarly, for like English is a key thing. So it's a secondary link. Then I also need books. I read a lot of books, and the books I got it from the library, from NPH, from MSDN, which is the Microsoft Developer Network, and later on from the internet. Yeah, but the internet came much later. But there was one thing key, which is me and my micro, which is a television program from BBC. I won't go into details. I'll be sharing this in the Heart Sutra class. I think most of you, okay, some of you never heard this before. Yeah, but the gist of it is, when we think about an ability of ours, it actually requires so much things, you know. Yeah. And this is just, I would say, in brief. Yeah. I list out as much as I can and fit it into the chart without getting it overly messy. Yeah. So imagine this is just one ability, right? Imagine, and if I were to do meditation, then I have to include many other things. Yeah, many other things. Yeah. How about driving? Then again, many other things. Yeah. So suffice to say, I don't think I don't think you all have only 3 abilities in your life, right? Yeah. And many of the abilities may be intertwined also. Yeah. So what does that tell us? So I named this the Interdependency Gratitude Chart. Yeah. First of all, to recognize that various aspects of our life are dependent on others. Yeah, are interdependent on many countless individuals. Yeah. And when we reflect in this way, then we have to ask ourselves, if we are happy with our current abilities, if whatever abilities we have currently has benefited ourselves and others, then should we just say, oh, I'm the one who is able to do all this? Yeah, when I reflected on this, then I'm like, oh yeah, even my kindergarten teacher helped me, you know. Even Sesame Street contributed to my programming because if they didn't have the dun 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 dun, dun, you know, yeah, all that helped me to develop my English, yeah, such that I'm able to understand the BBC program, Me and My Micro, because my father, who is English ed, was always amazed how come I understand the English. Because this was in the mid-80s. Yeah. And but I don't think it's anything special. It's like if you watch Sesame Street every other day, of course you can watch that, right? Because that guy really speaks with a strong, quite a strong British accent. Yeah. So so in one fell swoop, you remove the basis for your pride. Yeah. Anytime you feel proud of yourself, it is because you think you are the sole contributor of the success, of the result. But when you day in, day out reflect on dependent arising conditions and emptiness, then there's really no basis for pride to arise. You realize that you are not solely responsible. But at the same time, there's no basis for inferiority complex. There's no basis for you to feel like, oh, you didn't do anything. Because you did do something. You are part of that process also. You are not absolved of responsibility. It's just that we tend to go from one extreme to the other extreme. Either full responsibility or zero responsibility. Buddha says, no, we are partially involved. Yeah, we're partially involved. Yeah, so, and that's why when we usually look at pride and inferiority complex, we tend to look at them as different things. But in Buddhism, we say they are actually the same, except that because they are the same because their basis is the same. It's all about ego. Yeah. This takes a while to wrap around. Yeah, but inferiority complex is about ego also. Yeah. We usually think that hey, people feel inferior already, then you still say it's ego. No, it is ego. It is ego. Yeah. Now you're going to reflect on it. Why is it ego? Yeah. If a person has no ego, the person wouldn't feel inferior as well. Yeah. And that's why sometimes when people say, like when we want to take photos, some Buddhists are, initially, if you're, when you learn Buddhism, then already Asians are shy to take photo, right? Sometimes. Nowadays, not shy, everybody selfie. Yeah, but Asians tend to be shy to take photos to begin with, especially the elderly. Then the moment they learn Dharma, lagi worse. Yeah, why? Because now they have a Dharma excuse. Oh, 不着相, 不着相. Yeah, I'm not attached to the form. Don't need to take photo. Rubbish lah. It's precisely you 着相, that's why you say you don't want to take photo. If you are not attached, then whose form are we taking? Not taking your form what? If you don't identify with this as your form, then what's wrong with people taking it? So people don't realize. Yeah. When they donate and when they insist to be anonymous, there's also attachment. No, I don't tell people, don't tell people. Why are you so afraid that people know? Yeah. It's different from making sure people know that you donated. Yeah. It's different from wanting to stand right in front, be the center of the photo. That's different. Yeah, that's different. Oh, yeah. So back to the question. Yeah, is it not normal to have that kind of suffering in terms of maybe sad or frustration not with the person, frustration with ourselves. Well, how come we cannot help the person? But in my case, I was frustrated with the person. Yeah. But if you were to reflect on dependent arising existence, yeah, and emptiness, then we are able to look at it with equanimity. Yeah, that currently you cannot help because you don't have the conditions. Yeah, but this means that you are proactive. That means you have to ask yourself proactively, what can help that person? Who can help that person? And I would say that helped me a lot, because in the past, when people come to me for help, I'll be very eager to help them, of course. Yeah, everybody would like to be the helper, right? Yeah. And then when they don't follow my instructions, I get very fed up. Yeah. I told you. Maybe sometimes now, even now, I also, but when I do see it, then I'm okay. Yeah. And in fact, sometimes when people come to me for counseling or for help, when I assess the situation, I may tell them, why don't you go and look for the other venerable? Why don't you go and look for another person? Not because I'm selfish, not because I'm fed up, I don't want to help, but because I realize I'm not the best person to help. Yeah. Realizing this really helped me help people. Yeah. Otherwise, you will always be stuck with thinking that you are the only person who can help. Yeah. No? Okay. 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了，
普愿罪障悉消除。
普愿罪障悉消除。
Oh, hang on, sorry. Can you wrote a question? Can a non-Buddhist be able to achieve Sotapanna and above if they can attain jhana? Not necessarily. Yeah. The fact that a person is Buddhist or not may not affect the person's ability to attain enlightenment. Depends. If when we say a person is Buddhist or non-Buddhist, it is in terms of the Singapore IC kind of Buddhist. Yeah. If a person is a Buddhist in terms of, oh, I register myself as a Buddhist with NRO. Yeah. Oh, so whenever I fill up form, I fill up Buddhist. So I'm a form Buddhist. Yeah. 表格佛教徒. Yeah. Then it doesn't matter. Then this person, whether he declared Buddhist or not, make no difference. Yeah. But if a person, although never declare as a Buddhist, but have the wholesome roots and connect with the teachings, then the person can attain Sotapanna if they can attain jhana. Of course, in the Buddhist tradition, there's a question mark of whether you need jhana or not to attain enlightenment. But let's just put that aside first. But if the person don't have the composition of the Eightfold Path, yeah, when they come into contact with the Four Noble Truths, they are not able to resonate with it. Yeah, when the teaching says that, when the Buddha's teaching says that our suffering arises due to greed, hatred, delusion, due to craving and clinging, the person has doubts, has too much doubts, has so much doubts that or disbelief, not able to connect with it, and just outrightly don't agree. Then and various aspects of right view cannot accept. Yeah. So if the person has jhana, may actually hold on strongly to the sense of a self. Yeah. So even further away from Sotapanna, because for Sotapanna, the person must first eradicate the wrong view of a self. Whereas for someone who attains jhana, easy without the right view first. When you attain jhana first, without the right view, easy for you to develop a stronger sense of the self. Yeah. Oh, because you are able to do what others cannot do. The state would appear to be fairly perpetual. The jhanic state appears fairly perpetual, without the pre-teaching, yeah, on impermanence, the transientness, and the ability to the technique to observe it, yeah, is easy to draw the conclusion, oh, this is very permanent. Because at the first place, you wouldn't be questioning it. You wouldn't be looking at the various angles of it. Oh. Okay?
感恩师父。
阿弥陀佛。世事常行菩萨道。
世事常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。
起立。
Class, may we thank Sifu for today's practice and sharing by prostrating 3 times.
Jolene, when instructing the class, right, don't say may we. May we is as though it's an option.
Okay.
It's
so
like
Sifu,
in class, right? When we are in primary school, 起立 don't say 请大家要不要起立？就起立就起立。Yeah.
So Sifu will be class.
Let's just
We shall.
Let's something.
Okay.
Don't have to may we.
Okay.
Like,
Okay. 好 Thank you, Sifu, for that. Class, let's pay respect. Let's thank Sifu for today's teaching and practice by prostrating 3 times. First prostration. Second prostration. Third prostration.
till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And as always, bye quiet.